Today the talk is about culture of Iran, the Iranian origin of EU cultures. The common theme between Persian New Year, also called Nowruz, Easter, also called Påske, and Passover in Hebrew, Pesach. You may be unaware of our many similarities we live on even today, from our languages that share the same ancestor to our cultures that share a great deal of basics in ideas and concepts. Especially the contemporary used terms West and East that created a wall between us, together with the propaganda that pumps out every day the highlight of just our differences instead of our many similarities on top of selling negative news. Today, my aim is to make an attempt to speak with you in the language of oneness instead of differences, and use the power of languages known as etymology to unveil some of our behind-the-scene shocking linkages. Words talk to us, and when you use a word, it is not just that. You already adapted and carry the ideas, concept, and feeling embedded in it. Let me be more specific. You may be unaware of this, but Persian, known as Farsi, Norwegian, English, French, Spanish, Russian, Greek, and Latin, are all belong to the same family language called Indo-European. Indo-Aryan, also called an Irano-European. Remember, but not Hebrew, not Arabic and Aramic, as they are Proto-Semitic, also Afro-Semitic, as well as Turkic or Common Turkic languages. The following words give you a better clue of what I'm pointing. Father English, Far Old Norsk, Pedar Persian. Mother English, Mur or Norsk, Madar Persian. Brother English, Brur or Norsk, Baradar Persian. Daughter English, Daughter Old Norsk, Dukhtar Persian. Good Old Norsk, Khoda Persian. Given these strong linguistic shreds of evidence, culture-wise also shockingly we have many things in common, including our calendars, festivals, and traditions that have been left mainly untold in the today's Western world. What if I tell you the majority of aspects of your today's cultures in the EU have their roots in ancient Iran, known in the West as Persia, from paganism which is widespread in all European lands to Vikings in Scandinavia, and of course much of Roman and Greek mythology, all links to the ancient Iranian Mithraism religion. 600 BC before Christ. Through the Persian Empire, Mithraism was also spread all over the massive Persian Empire that accounted for 50% of world population. Later on, became so popular among the public that even Roman and Greek adapted it, known as cult of the Mithra in Latin. In fact, in the critical time before Christianity arises, from 100 BC to 300 after Christ, Romans were Mithraic, where today you can find more than 400 Mithraic fire temples all over Italy, and even the Vatican itself was a Mithraic fire temple. Accounting for this, the Christian Church used the credibility and values of the well-established Mithraism calendar, culture, and thoughts among people for the benefit of their own calendar and culture arising. That is why today's European calendar is basically the outpost and reflection of today's Iranian calendar, from Christmas that accompanies Yalda in Iran to Easter that accompanies Nowruz in Iran, and many other feasts. What about Nowruz? What, why, and how this is the origin of Easter? What do we have to support this linkage? Let's start with the science of the word's origin, etymology. The word Easter comes from Esterdog in Old English, from estre, that is itself cognates indeed with the word east as well, from Proto-Germanic astron, ostre, meaning down or sunrise, that is in West Germanic goddess of spring and fertility, whose feast was celebrated at the spring equinox. This originated itself from the Latin word aurora, which is also the goddess of the dawn or sunrise in Roman mythology, possibly from the Greek word eos, which is in the goddess of the dawn, as well, and sunrise. All originated from Old Persian word asa, meaning to shine, to raise, especially of the dawn or sunrise. In fact, the word east means where the sun arises, and therefore Persian named the land where the sun rises Asia or Asa. Also, the meaning of east points to the direction that the sun arises. The word Europe follows also the same reasoning. In fact, it comes from two words, hur meaning sun and pa meaning down, meaning the land where the sun sets. In fact, both words, Europe and Arab, come from this and share the same meaning of the land where the sun sets. Coming back to Easter, the word in its core is already pointing that it's come from east, yet etymologically root back to Old Persian as well, words of asa. Let's move on to the other terms of Easter, also called Påske. It comes from Old French Pascal, 12th century, and directly from late Latin Paschalis, from Greek Pascha, Passover, from Aramaic Semitic Pascha, Passover, corresponding to the Hebrew Pesach, Passover. This is one of the many Indo-European words that entered into Semitic language and later on from Semitic, in this case Hebrew, entered back into Indo-European languages, in this case Latin, that spread the word all over the European land through the spread of religion possibly. The Hebrew word Pesach borrowed perhaps from Old Persian pas, meaning to appreciate. And in fact, Jews even call this day the day of appreciation. Perhaps the best preserved example of this in Indo-European languages is widely used word spas, sepas in Persian, meaning thank you, which you can find it in other Indo-Iranian languages like the Russian word spasiba, meaning thank you, or literally I appreciate you. In Old Norse and Norwegian, this turned into spå, meaning to predict or fortune telling. What we saw here was a crystal clear linkages between these two holidays, from its core of celebration, costumes, and socio-cultural traditions to its timing that accompanies each other at the beginning of spring, and to the science of words' roots that shows us a clear linkage between European languages and also Persian etymologically. Let's all remember that we share a great deal of similarities that can bring us together, both politically and socially, and let's not forget that the main message of Nowruz is filled with hope, in harmony with nature, where we shall learn from our past for the benefits of our future that brightly awaits us. I end today's video with the following poems from the great Persian poet Hafiz.
نوبهار است در آن کوش که خوشدل باشی که بسی گل بدمد باز و تو در گل باشی.
Oh darling, spring is on its way. So do your best to be kind and spread happiness, since many flourishing flowers springs will come and go while you are sleeping in your grave.